So, do you have a spiritual practice?
A practice. The closest thing I have to a practice is I engage in Byron Katie's inquiry work. So in my moments of when it's really tense, essentially, and I don't know if you're familiar with that work.
No, I'm not. I know Byron Katie, but I'm not familiar with that work.
Yeah. So formally, the process is to ask yourself if when you're having troubling thoughts, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of overwhelm, is to ask yourself 4 questions. Ultimately, what it results in is it helps you distance yourself from the thought. It helps to create the change in perspective.
And what are the questions?
So if you isolate a thought that's causing you a lot of strain, and you ask yourself, is it true? And the answer to that question is only yes or no. It's not, you are not allowed to be like, yes, but you know what I'm saying? You can't do all that. Yes or no. And it does not matter how you answer it. The next question is it really true? Now, I know that sounds simple.
No, I love it.
There's power in that.
Yes, I love it.
Isolate this thought. And I could give you a perfect example of how I use it. During that tough time with my daughter, she had become what I perceived to be extremely disrespectful. Like she was just in the morning, she'd be like yelling. And, if I asked her to like clean her room, she'd be like screaming. Her answer would be crazy. And I remember one day, I held the thought, this kid is disrespectful. Like she's a bad kid. That was my thought, right? And when I act on it, I only make things worse when I act on that. So I had to question it. Is it true? She's bad. No. You know what I mean? Like I immediately no. Is it really true? No. I mean, it's not. And then the third question is, how do you react when you believe the thought? And so you have to sit in that.
Whoa.
You have to sit in that moment. So what I had to do with my daughter was I had to sit in the moment where I'm standing in her room and she is screaming at me. And I had to think about what comes up in me when I believe this kid, she's doing the most right now. And I had to, that anxiety, that anger, I get angry, I get, I want to discipline her, I want to yell at her, I get sad.
Wait, say the last question again.
How do you react when you believe the thought?
Right. So is it true? Is it really true? And the third question
is, how do you react when you believe the thought?
Okay. You haven't told us the fourth question yet.
Nope, I haven't.
Okay.
Because the fourth question is, what happens? How do you react when you don't believe the thought? So when I am standing, and that was powerful for me, because in that moment, what I do, and this is kind of a meditation. You have to sit in that. So I'm standing in her room mentally. This is the exercise, and I'm not holding the thought of she's bad. What am I doing? I am literally looking at the most beautiful person I have ever seen in my life. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, she's upset. She's crying about it. She's yelling about something, but she's just a beautiful kid. When you take the thought away. Yeah.
And so how did you adjust after that? That's so beautiful. I'm going to comment in a minute. It's so beautiful. How did you adjust after you came to the awarenesses that came up for you?
So then this is the last piece of it. So you do the 4 questions. And what you do then is you practice what are called turnaround statements. So you take the original statement, you turn it around, and you assess how true it is. So I go from she's a bad kid to she's a good kid. And then I sit with that. Can I find any evidence that she's a good kid? What comes up in me? I think about her baby pictures. I think about her ballet recital. I think about, all these things. Because ultimately the realization you come to is that the opposite thoughts are just as true as the one you had.
Right.
And so you practice all these turnarounds and you can find evidence for them. So then ultimately what you're left with is, okay, I could think a thought that makes me feel like crap and scream at my kid, or I could think a thought that makes me love her. Both have enough truth.
Right.
Both have enough evidence.
Right. And what comes up for me around that is so powerful. That's doing the work.
Right. It's called the work. Actually. That's what Byron Katie calls it.
That's what she calls it?
She calls it the work.
That is doing the work. And it takes me to A Course in Miracles, to the concept of, if it's not love, it's a call for love. Mm. And so the way she was acting was a call for love.
Yep. That's it. Yep. Nonviolent communication, right? It's always an expression of some kind of need.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
So that's, if I had to say, do I have a practice, that would be it. And sometimes, you got to take a notebook out, write it.
Yeah,
just do it. Yeah.
Do you have times when, I know when you let God do God's thing, do you have times when you talk to God?
Talk to God. Yes, I do. I do. My most, but you know what? I don't know how to pray per se. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's not, all you have to do is talk to God. Prayer is just talking to God. But I have had one of my interests one day. It's to learn how to pray effectively and publicly. I don't know how to do that.
What do you mean when you say publicly?
Let's say over a meal, give grace. I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm not comfortable with any formal sort of declaration. This is deep for me. I'm only doing it because I like you. I'm only here because I like Adrian. That's why I'm here. I can't believe I'm doing that.
I have at least two friends that are coming to mind that are masters of prayer, where it's, can we sit on the phone and you just say a prayer for me right now? And then they just go, or it could be grace, or they just, they are masters.
Right.
I can't do that, but it is just talking to God. Mm-hmm. Or, I might say a prayer, which is like a formal prayer that we know, like the Lord's Prayer or something like that. But otherwise, it is talking to God. Sometimes I will just repeat either God over and over. I'll just say God, God, God in my thoughts. Mm-hmm. Or I'll say Holy Spirit over and over again. Mm-hmm. Or I'll say Jesus over and over again. And either of those, depending on where my spirit is, because I don't want my brain to work too hard and saying the word.
Yep, that's it.
So whatever the ease is in terms of getting the word out in my thoughts, I'll repeat that word, and then I'll let that quiet my mind and take me into a meditation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I need to get there.
You don't need to do anything. You just, I'm just talking. Yeah. But I was just wondering if you had a morning practice before you start your day. Do you do anything to arm you for the world in terms of prayer or spirituality?
I keep my vision board in the bathroom. So whether it's conscious or unconscious, or unconsciously, I reflect on those images every morning. And we talked about this. I listen to stuff, so I'm gonna play a little Joe Dispenza some every morning.
Yeah.
a little bit of something just to get me ready.
And you listen to other people too. And but I want to just bring up Joe Dispenza for a minute, because it's something to me, the people that I know that really like Joe Dispenza are very smart, heady, intelligent, academic people